Alright, as you can see, we got some paint on our black bitch. I think it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. The seam here took about 4 repaints to get it close. It's not perfect, but to get it close and to cover, cover the circle, the patch for the upper turret, of course. Took a while to get that done and close, like I said. Now the part that I'm dreading is the masking. When I masked off all the windows, I had gotten one of those mask kits, which is pretty good. I had gotten one of these mask kits for it. Thought that might make it easier to work with. So, I got that, started applying. Some of them were very good, others weren't. It was very tedious and everything, so I ended up stopping and doing the rest of the windows with this micro mask material. It's supposed to be very good. I've heard good reviews about it, and I decided to give it a try. I've had this stuff sitting on my desk for years, actually. I decided to give it a try. Now the fun part is going to be seeing how easy it comes apart. Kind of nervous about that, but that's our next step. So stay tuned. Alright, as you can see, we got farther on the black bitch. We put the engines on. We put the bombardier glass, the nose glass on. The observation glass here is on, and we peeled off all our masks. Remember, I was telling you in the last one I wasn't sure how the micro mask material was going to work. I was afraid it was going to get stuck and it wouldn't come off, but to be honest with you, it was really easy. It really worked well. I could see myself using it more often in the future now. It was pretty good. It came off very easily. So all the windows are exposed. I did a little bit of weathering work by chipping I have no doubt in my mind that this bird wasn't stripped down to metal and then painted black, that they just painted the black over top of the olive drab. So I took olive drab, put it in parts where I thought it'd be wear, just to add a little contrast to it. Even though the photos of this bird in Kingman show it really shiny and everything, and pretty evenly painted, was in good shape. Just having a black plane with all other pieces black would be hard to look at. It would just be a blotch, So I'm trying to add some depth to it with that kind of stuff. Some alternating blacks in some areas. When we do weathering of the engine wear and stuff like that, it's going to add some different colors to it. The underside was black too, so I mean, it's just not much I could do. It was only so much, but I did paint the landing gear silver. The tires are charcoal gray. Again, give it a little contrast to the body color. I'm really displeased at the way the wheels look on the outside. This kit does come with a decal for the wheels, but this bird didn't have that kind of paint scheme on it, because it's like red with hearts on it or something like that. So just have to deal with it. The other thing I did here too, is I could just zoom in, is the engines. I didn't just paint the engines black. Again, black bird, black engines, it would be very monotone, everything blurred together. So the engines were actually painted in gunmetal, and then I dry brushed steel over top of them. You can see it over the vents and the vanes and the cylinder heads. And then a piece that I noticed from pictures of 909, the current 909, I admit, there was a hose on the top cylinder that came down to, at an angle kind of from the 12 to the 11 o'clock position, and it was a red hose. I've seen others where they were blue. I'm pretty sure they didn't have those color hoses during World War II either. They were probably all black. But again, to add contrast, I took a little bit of creative licensing and I made the red hose just to give it some contrast of color, so it stands out a little bit, That's where that is. I did realize also, I was pretty disappointed when I found out that the Matchbox kit doesn't come with those little antenna ears that come out of the sides of the fuselage. Yeah, I could probably make them, but it probably wouldn't be that good. So I think I'm just going to leave them off for this, just the way it is. And then the thing that we're working on right now, as you can see here, on this side you had the very big triangle. Okay, well now we're going to put on the J. Okay, so I cut a mask out. Whoops. I cut a mask out of some blue tape. Did all kinds of measurements the best I could from the photo I had. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to mask the rest off. I got to be careful because I want to save this. I didn't want to do it twice. I'm just going to take this and flip it on the other side. And now I'm going to use some navy blue, acrylic blue. I think it looks pretty close to the photos, and paint that on, and then we're going to be pretty much in the home stretch. So stay tuned. Okay, we got some more progress on the black bitch. As you can see, it's now shiny. I decided the dull routine, dulling it down to make it look, I'll say, more realistic, wasn't working because the photos that exist of the aircraft show it was shiny. So I decided I was just going to shine it up and go with that. Now, I went and I I screwed myself up on this. I really did. And I seem to bite myself in the ass all the time on it. I got impatient and I just took some acrylic clear spray and I sprayed it over the aircraft. I thought it would work, and I did screwed up a couple things. One, it fogged over the windows. So all the windows have been fogged over now because of that. Clear doesn't work on clear for some reason. It just screwed it up. Now I've been able to go over with some Novus polisher and clean them up a little bit, but they're frosted over now for the most part, and I'll do a couple more runs with it, but it's cleaned up the nose. The nose is looking a lot better than it was after it happened, so you know, I'll see what I can do. It is what it is. Okay. I don't know what to say. I always rush and I screw myself up. So that's got hosed. The other thing is, there was actually, you could see here in the wing, if I can get in close enough, it actually reacted with the paint and gave me this effect on the wings, which I'm, again, not thrilled about. But I'm not at a point where I'm going to strip this down. So it really, again, I really hosed this project up, but I can't stop. I have to continue working on it. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to, despite that, we're going to keep going. I tried something for the first time that I've never done before, and that is I put some guide wires on here. Okay, you can see them right there, here. And to do that, I used some fishing line that I have. I'm looking for it, see if I can find it. Never around when you need it, right? Anyway, I used some fishing line, and first off, I used actually I used, to do the guide wires, what I did is I first took my circuit board drills, okay, and I drilled a hole in the tail, okay. That was the first thing, and I used the size, I don't remember what size it was. My circuit board drills go by color. I drilled a hole that would fit on a scrap piece of plastic that would fit the fishing line that I have, and I found the right size, and that's what I did. So I made a hole in the tail. Then I came down here by the radio operator's room, which is where the wires go into, and I drilled holes there. Now, the problem that I had after that was that the line didn't look right when it went down from the tail to the radio operator's room and just curved in. So I was looking online and I found out there were little posts that actually came out of the radio operator's antenna and room, and the lines actually connected to that and then went into the aircraft. So I decided to replicate that. Now it's a little messy, but the plane is pretty hosed anyway at this point, so it's kind of just a test bed for me. All right, so what I did, zoom in, see if it'll focus. There you go. So I took some styrene plastic I had, I put it in the holes, I made the holes bigger for that plastic, put it in, and that worked fine. So I had these two big ears sticking out both sides of the aircraft, and then I pulled I painted the line. I painted it a magnesium color. Okay, I didn't want to do silver. Silver was too bright, but I painted it, stretched it, glued it in place, and it seemed to work fine. But what I found out as I was gluing it in place and trying to make sure it was secure, the glue actually ate through the plastic on this side and it broke off. So here we go again, another foul up. Murphy really is kicking my butt. So I drilled out the hole on this side because this is the one that broke, and I found a little piece of brass rod that I had, real tiny stuff. So I put that in its place and trimmed it down, glued it, and then pulled the wire taut, and of course being metal it didn't break with the styrene. So from now on that's what I use. So this side is actually metal post, this side is a styrene one. It just held it in place, it worked. So we got guide wires. Then as you can see here, this antenna, the kit came with one, but it was extremely small, it was out of scale, and it wasn't shaped right. It had like a little ball on top of it, so I didn't like that. And I really wanted it on here because it's the pieces like this, the antennas, that are really going to add life to this model, because the Matchbox kit, as much as it's a fun kit, and in the end it's going to look like a B-17 regardless of what river counters are going to say, I just want to add as much detail and bring it to life as I can. So that's why I've been adding these details. So out of my own styrene, I cut an antenna to be the right size and shape, glued it on the back. That has to be painted. And the other one that's bothering me, I mentioned this before, is that the pitot tubes are missing, and there's another antenna that goes here and here in the front. This is more of a whip antenna of some sort. I don't know the exact designation for it, but that's what it's supposed to. That's what I see on the pictures. And then there's this one, and again, I'm not sure what this one was for, but it comes out of the nose and it has like a half round loop that or horseshoe shaped with the opening facing towards the cockpit. I wanted to add that detail, so I again cut out some styrene. I glued it in place. It's off-centered, as you can see, so I really boned that. So I'm toying with the idea of busting this off and redoing the whole nose section to fit that, and maybe put on the pitot tubes on the bottom. I haven't decided yet. We'll have to see what goes on with that, but that's where we are. You can see also another thing since the last update is I did the antennas. The light's not really showing you too well how they came out, but what I did for those is I painted them black like the rest of the aircraft using the same paint, but I didn't gloss them. I just left them the natural color, the black that they were. Then I went and I used gunmetal, and I just dry brushed over them to add some wear, because there's props right after, you could come out of the prop shop. I worked in a prop shop before, and the props are painted really nice, but as soon as they get spun up, man, the paint starts coming off and it wears off, especially in this situation and the that these planes were in. So I added the gunmetal to add some wear to it, and then I did the tips, the yellow tips, and I made sure those were I just very lightly applied the tips to make them look worn out too. I didn't want them to be bright yellow, and there is no stickers, decal work on them. Again, I doubt when these things were rebuilt in the field they ever put them back on. I just don't think they had time for that kind of thing. Factory work, yes. If an engine and a prop came from a repo or a shop and the backlines, maybe they put them on, but in the field, just out there here. But the cool thing is the kit came with the decals for the Hamilton Standard logos that do go on the props. But since I wasn't going to use them on here, what I did do to add interest to the body itself is you can see them here. What I did is I added them to the approximate areas where the fuel tanks would be. So that's, add interest as to where the fuel is placed in the aircraft. So that is where we are right now. We're getting close. It's time to wrap it up because the more I work on it, the more I'm screwing it up. But overall, it's kind of going to be cool. It's defects at all because it's going to be a unique looking B-17 hanging on the wall in all black. So that's basically where we are. We should have one more video update on this and then we'll be done. This build has gone on way too long. So, I just keep, like I said, the longer it goes on, the more I screw it up. So I got to get it over with. So till next time, guys, be strong.